a group of Russian cybercriminals has stolen 1.2 billion, yeah, you heard me, billion with a B, 1.2 billion usernames and passwords. The security company that uncovered this breach says the hackers stole the information from more than something like 420,000 websites. It probably means one of the ones you've used. Poppy Harlow is here with more details. This is astonishing, just the breadth of it, 1.2 billion.
Right, for more, about 4 times the U.S. population.
Right.
It's an incredible number. This is, by all accounts, the biggest data breach yet. It wasn't discovered by the government. It was discovered by a Milwaukee-based security firm called Holden Security. We talked to the founder last night about it, and he said what's interesting about this is that they weren't trolling for your financial data. They weren't breaking into your bank account. They were basically sending out spam emails to market things like different weight loss pills, things like that. But what they do think is that they were gearing up for something bigger. So they were able to fly under the radar for a long time. This was affecting big Fortune 500 companies and tiny little mom and pop shops with websites. They have fixed and closed the loophole on a lot of those websites, but not all of them. So they're not putting the names out there of what companies may have been affected, which makes it hard for me and you to know, hey, have I been to that website?
Right.
Have I been hurt? But he pointed out that Fortune 500 companies and small companies at this point are still vulnerable. They're leaving themselves exposed to all of this. An interesting factor and an analogy made is we keep our homes tidy. We don't keep our online lives tidy. And it's kind of true. We don't do the things we need to do to protect ourselves. Maybe it's not so harmful this time, but 1.2 billion, you've got to think that there was a bigger goal here.
You look at the law of averages, look around our studio. That means several of us were likely hacked.
Right.
Here's the question. How will we know that we've been hacked?
So you may know if your friends email you and say, hey, did you send me this odd email with a link? Don't ever open those links, folks, by the way. Don't ever do that. So your friends may alert you. There's not like a surefire way to know, oh, I've been hacked. This happened this morning. This happened today. But this company, Holden Securities, is saying they are setting up a way in the next few weeks for you to contact them, and for free, they're going to tell you if you were vulnerable or part of this hack. Not all hacks, this hack. Also, companies can pay other security firms to let them know.
Obviously, the best thing is just change your password, right?
Change it. I mean, I make the mistake of having a similar password for a lot of things.
Poppy Harlow rules?
Yeah, exactly. Michaela rules. Don't do that, okay? It's hard to remember different passwords. There are these great apps on your smartphone online where you can save all of your different passwords, and it is secure.
I was going to say, I don't need them hacking that website.
Apparently, they're secure, so they say. You need to have a different password for everything. Also, what we're seeing increasingly is this double factor identification.
Right.
Websites prompting you, and I think almost all companies should have this. Websites prompting you for 2 passwords to get in. That's going to make you a lot safer. This is the new reality we live in, and 1.2 billion people were hacked.
Keep your online life as clean as your real life. I like that. Good analogy from
I don't
Poppy.
do it,
well,
but I will try.
Strong words.
Good morning, my fellow YouTubers and everyone else that watches our channel or just happens to stumble upon it. My name is Ryan Rhodes. I'm the owner of Powerup Computer Solutions. And yes, what you just watched was a video from CNN Money, and it's basically this whole outbreak of the 1.2 billion usernames and passwords that were hacked into by Russian criminals, by supposedly a Russian mafia or a Russian group that was able to do it. And this is strictly off their website that we're looking through right here, and it basically says, 1.2 billion internet users and passwords have been stolen, have been broken into, and what they've done is basically it's an ad scam campaign. That's what it's called, where basically they go in, and what they do is they take your information, and they take your username, your password, and they send out an email. It's a fake email to your friends and your family members, to anybody that you may have contacted in the past maybe 2, 3, 4, 5 months. It just really depends on your most frequent communications between you and your loved ones, or you and your coworkers, or you and your boss, whoever it is that you're talking to. And what their main goal is basically to have that familiar face, so when the other person reads your email, they click on the link thinking that, hey, they sent me this link, it's real, and they get suckered into either A, giving up information, B, paying something or paying them for diet pills, as they said, or C, it could also lead to identity theft. And that was the biggest thing that they were talking about that has not happened yet, was the identity theft part. But as they hinted in the video that you just saw, was basically where they were saying that it could lead to something bigger. There's a couple things I don't agree with on this video. The first one is when she talks about how there's no way to tell if you have gotten scammed or if you are a part of this. Actually, there is a way, and I'm going to show you how to do that. It's free to do, and anyone can actually do it because it actually happens more often than you think. I do agree with her about changing your passwords. Please make sure that you change your passwords every 2 to 3 months. That's usually what every tech will recommend. Change your password out every 2 to 3 months. If you feel that you need to change your password out because you feel that you're vulnerable, go ahead and do it. One thing I don't agree with, though, and I would not advise you to do it just because of the fact that if something like this can happen to, let's say, for instance, Microsoft Outlook, Yahoo, or AOL, any of the big email providers, it can also happen to anybody that's holding passwords for you. So one thing I don't recommend is carrying those passwords and putting them into a program, even though it may be secure, putting them into a program to where now you have all of your passwords for all your accounts in one location. And if it does get breached, guess what? Everyone now has access, or whoever breached it, let's say for instance the Russians breach it again, they now have access to all of your information on all of your accounts. So now you're even more vulnerable because now you've lost your information. And definitely websites should have 2 passwords, 1 to get into the system and 2 to get into actually the core of the system. So just a login followed by another login, or maybe just have 2 different passwords in order to authenticate your login the first time. That's whatever businesses want to do. That's a big thing that Fortune 500 companies have to realize, is that every system is hackable. Regardless whether you think you have the best or secure system, you always have to upgrade, you always have to improve, you always have to make sure that what you're doing is safe, whatever you're doing secure, that your users are secure, and that your internet or your VPN is also secure, because they are vulnerable at any time. If 1.2 billion people in the entire world got their internet and emails hacked into, now we'll also give it a benefit of doubt that everyone in here had 2 or 3 email accounts, because that also slims down the numbers as well. Remember, and I'm pretty sure those that are watching have multiple email accounts, so just be on the safe side that even though you see 1.2 billion internet usernames and passwords, that may actually not be the number of people that were affected. There could be multiple emails with the same person that have been affected. So right now, if you're watching this YouTube video, I encourage you, if you haven't done it already, let's go in and change your password out. If you need to write down your password, probably the easiest way to do that is going onto a notepad, for instance, on your computer. So for instance, we go to Notepad. This will probably be the easiest way to do it. And you could say, for instance, you could say username and password, and then you can also type in here, what it's for, okay? So mine's my Outlook email account, and if you have different ones, then, give it a nickname or something, okay? And then put your username and password in. And then what you want to do is when you're done with that, just hit Save As. The easiest place to keep this is on your desktop, because you never know. You may want to put it on the desktop, or maybe you're organized and you already have a place to put it. Go ahead and put it on there, but, don't name it obviously. Just make it something like personal information. Don't do like passwords. Don't do something, make it something that you're easy to remember. Pink hippos, if you want to use that one. That's completely up to you. It's just something to where when you get on your desktop, if you forgot your password, it's okay, you have it there. Now, why is that important? Well, considering that it's on your host system and it's on your desktop, unless you get actually hacked into and your firewall fails and your Windows Defender fails, then you may have a little bit of a problem, because now your passwords are everywhere, or at least on your desktop. If you want to hide it, you can also hide it as well wherever you want to go. It usually takes a hacker, when they're going into your system, they actually have an automated system that they use a lot of times. It's not even hand done anymore. And that's good, because the automated system may overlook this file. It may or may not. So it's kind of like one of those things where always make sure you're protected. If you feel like this is a bad thing, print it out and then delete it, so that you have something to where physically it's yours and you keep track of it. So with that being said, I'm not going to save this because I usually don't need to. I can remember all my passwords. But I will show you real quick here on Outlook. This right here is an example of a spam email. This one is from PayPal. Now, I do have a PayPal. What they do is they like to get your information from PayPal, or if you use your PayPal to buy something or anything like that, they can track it with these tracking cookies that they implement into your email. Well, what this is first off, this is not a real email from PayPal. The first hint that it's not from PayPal is the sender's email address. If you take a look up here in the top, the sender email address says info@fincasgiuffrida.com.ar. That is not, and I repeat, that is not the service at paypal.com's website or their email. If it was an email from them, this would be the email address used. This is not the email address that's used, okay? So what they're doing is they made this the nickname, but this is actually the email it came from. So they try and get you from there. So one, that is not a real email from them. The second hint is PayPal will always use their logos on this. PayPal does not have their logo on here at all. So that's one bad thing too. Your PayPal account, needs your help. It says, hello dear customer. PayPal would never do that. PayPal has an automatic system that says it knows exactly what your name is, and it will also tell you anything that you need to do. It says right here, please help us bring your PayPal account back in order. Until then, we have temporarily restricted your PayPal account access. If this has ever happened, the first thing you should do if you ever get an email like this is go to PayPal, log in. If you can log in, this is fake. The second thing is that if this happens, you need to report this email to PayPal because they need to know. This is what helps them understand that these are going out. So they need to make sure that they send in information, and the same thing on this YouTube video that I'm giving you. Make sure that you check your sources before you just click on these little things here. Now, right here it says, we want to confirm some of your account information. What do I do now? Question mark. It says log into your PayPal account and go to your conflict resolution page. This actually does exist in PayPal, but for the sake of the video, and because I know I'm protected with all the stuff that I use here on my computer and the computers we use at our shop, I'm going to go ahead and click on this email. I'm going to unblock it, and we're just going to see where this leads to. So we're going to click it real quick. I haven't logged into PayPal. I don't have anything like that on PayPal. So my information is secure. I haven't done anything to where they can track it. So as you can see, the web address that we're going to right now, okay, this is cute. Okay, so so here's how they're going to get you. This is a fake website, okay? How do we know it's a fake website? Well, here we go. I can only click on one thing. Notice how my mouse doesn't let me click on anything but the email and password for my PayPal, okay? I can't click problem logging in. I can't click sign up, anything else. Also, notice this. This is the PayPal website they have right now, correct? Well, here's the actual PayPal website that's on the market today. This is actually what PayPal looks like. This is the new PayPal. They changed their name. They changed how their website actually lays out. They changed everything. And you can also click on everything. So here's how they get you. If you don't know what the website looks like, it looks like PayPal and you haven't been on PayPal for a while. You think, okay, well, let me get in there and put my password in, hit login. The minute you hit login, here's what happens. The website that you log into is a keylog website. It keylogs your information. They already know your username because the username is put in there, and they also keylog your password. Here's what happens. They get into your PayPal and they steal money from you, or they get into your PayPal, they change your information in your PayPal, they lock your PayPal, and now they have full access to it. So any funds that came to your PayPal, they can do. If your PayPal is linked to your bank account, they can continue to make purchases from your PayPal that'll go right directly from your bank account. So the biggest thing about this is to make sure that you do not whatsoever log into this kind of website. Don't give the information unless you know for 100% certain that that website is legit, that that website is not a fake website. Because if it is a fake website, they are going to steal your information. If not worse, they're going to steal your identity. So today, the message is very clear for anybody that's here. If you're on MSN, go in, click sign in, go into your account. If you're not sure how to change your password for MSN or Outlook real quick, on the settings tab that we go to, and this is really important too because Outlook is now with Microsoft. Microsoft has a one password type thing where the password is for everything on your Microsoft account, okay? So make sure that if you do change your password on here, that you also change your password on your account. Now that's really important because, for instance, with this, you go into account settings, and this is actually your account settings for your Microsoft information. So, you can always go in there and change out your information with security and password. You can change that out very quickly and just make sure that you continue to keep track of that password. You don't lose it. So biggest thing today, make sure that one, you make sure that you change your passwords every 2 or 3 months would be great. Make sure that you don't fall for these scam websites, even if they are from a friend. If there's a link in there and you're not familiar with the link and you read the link, it doesn't make any sense. And even if you have any questions, give your friend a call. Did they actually make that? If they didn't make it, tell them, hey, go change your password. Somebody got into your account. Because it's very, very important that you always ensure that your account is safe and secure and your passwords are changed, because they're very easy to get into, especially for a hacking group, to get into your passwords and your usernames. Like I said, change them out every 2 or 3 months. If you're not familiar on how to make a good password, we will have an episode up on our YouTube later that will explain how to make a good password, what to use to make a good password, and these passwords are very hard to hack. It takes a little bit longer for a hacker or somebody like that to actually get onto your system with a little bit more of a secure password, a little bit longer of a password with special characters and a mix of different things inside of it. Don't use your personal information for your passwords, of course. Don't use something that's easy to remember, because if it's easy to remember for you as far as your personal information, it's going to be easier for the hacker to get into as well. Lastly, make sure that if you are going to be using a website to store your passwords and usernames, that website is secure and that they do have a guarantee. Because if they don't have a guarantee and they're not secure, I would not do it. Like I said, I use a notepad, or I would write them down myself and maybe change out the passwords just a little bit on every website. For me personally, what I do is I use the same password. I just change out how the letters are numbered and the characters of the password. And sometimes it gets a little confusing, but there's a method that you can use to make it easier for you. So once again, my name is Ryan Rhodes. I'm with Powerup Computer Solutions. If you have any questions or comments or concerns, feel free to comment below. Feel free to send us an email. Visit us online, www.powerup-us.com, or also give us a phone call, 251-517-4092. Thanks so much and have a great day, and we hope this 1.2 billion username and password epidemic in the technical world calms a little bit and that you were not affected by it. But if you were, just follow these tips, and we hope to get you back on the internet very soon. Have a great day.